Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we take a look at the astrological energies from December 21st until December 28th, as we have a lovely week of energies unfolding that we will discuss and look into in our show today. We have just moved into the very beginning of Capricorn season, which coincides, of course, with the solstice energies. And the solstice is a point of really honoring our stillness, tapping into what we can hear, sense, and receive when we take a conscious, intentional pause and listen to our energy. And the solstice is also when the sun begins to move towards a new cycle. And in the northern hemisphere, it is when the sun now moves towards greater light. And that is when the highest light is achieved on the June solstice, the Cancer solstice. And in the southern hemisphere, the sun now is at its highest point, its brightest light, and it begins the cycle into the wisdom of the night, as the sun in the southern hemisphere will reach the June solstice and have the shortest day of the year, the less amount of light. And so the solstice is a beautiful threshold and energetic turning point that we can practice, honor, and work with. And it is also a way to make sure that we are energetically in alignment with the universal forces, with the cosmic cycles and flows of energies as we experience them here on our planet. It's important to note that our planet, Earth, has its own relationship with the sun, with solar consciousness, and other planets, Mercury, Mars, Neptune, Jupiter, each have their own ongoing relationship with the sun. And so we have our perspective of these energies and cycles, which would be very different if you lived on Jupiter, if you lived on Mercury. So it's one way to also understand how unique our energy is on this planet, what we are moving through, and how we are actively working with these solar cycles. Now, the solstice also is the initiating energy of the last three signs of the zodiac. They are Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. So we enter into the final quarter of the astrological wheel, and we move now into Capricorn season. Capricorn is the 10th sign of the zodiac. It is a cardinal sign, and every cardinal sign initiates a season as we understand it in Western tropical astrology. And so with the Capricorn energies, we initiate, as I said, the last quarter of the astrological wheel, and in the northern hemisphere, we initiate winter. Whereas in the southern hemisphere, we initiate summer. And so we're moving into literally a new season of our lives, a new season of the calendar year. And the Capricorn energy is the third and final earth sign. And it is an energy of accumulation, of what you have moved through, what you've experienced, and how you have built your life, especially in the previous cycle. But you could relate it certainly to all the years of your life, and check in with that energy of Capricorn that shows us where our commitments lie. And often we think of Capricorn as our energies that go out into the world, how we contribute, how we show up, our job, our profession, our public responsibilities, our public status. Capricorn is an energy of recognition and achievement. But it's also where we can internalize the energies and check in with ourselves and look at what are my commitments to myself in this lifetime? How am I honoring those parts of my energy, those parts of who I am? And this is where we can fortify ourselves as well in Capricorn season, where we understand that yes, we have duties, we have responsibilities, there's things we need to take care of in our lives. But there are also energies within us that need that same level of commitment and fortification. So as we move into Capricorn season, we have the ability to do some objective assessment and even analysis on what is necessary going forward. What do I need to take care of now? What is essential? What is a priority? What do I need to focus on? Where do I need to perhaps complete some things? Move them off my desk. Perhaps there's even an understanding here of where your energy is no longer interested or wanting to be committed to something, where you're realizing this has ran its course, or I'm not really getting much life force from this responsibility or this area of my life. So where can I make some new choices? And so Capricorn assists us in understanding our priorities and then helping us structure a path or plan to get there. And the Capricorn energy is steadfast and determined. It is the energy of being very aware of the reality of a situation. So as we move from Sagittarius season into Capricorn season, we're taking what we've learned in that Sagittarius energy and looking at what has real legs in Capricorn. So for example, when you think about how Sagittarius season is a mutable fire, it's about experiences and learning and exploring and going off and seeing things in a new way. And we can hear these themes regularly, right, when we talk about the Sagittarius energy. But it also relates to our unconscious belief systems that perhaps were giving you something to think about and consider during Sagittarius season, where maybe something was more alive for you or it came to your attention. Perhaps there's things that came up to your awareness that gave you new perceptions to consider. And Sagittarius is about wanting more. We want to do more. We want to try more. We want to have multiple options and choices. It can be a scattered energy. It can be inconsistent. It can also be wildly independent and just want to go and do its own thing. But then as we move into Capricorn season, we return to the real world and we have to understand what truly matters here in your life. What is really a priority for the long term? You can have perhaps short-term experiences or those things that just pass you by and you know it was a great time, you loved it, it was wonderful, but it's not meant to continue with you for the long term. Capricorn is about what can go the distance, what is designed to go for a longer period of time, and where you continue to honor that, you feed that. It resonates with you so deeply that you want to show up. It is something that drives you. And the healthy expression of Capricorn is that internal drive that says of, I'm doing this because I know it directly resonates with my energy, my gifts, my purpose in this lifetime. And since 2020, when we've had very big Capricorn energies that started in January 2020 with that Pluto-Saturn conjunction at 22 and 23 degrees of Capricorn, we have all been needing to restructure our lives, restructure our purpose. We've had bigger questions coming up around the kind of work you do every day and where is it leading? Where is this going? Is this even satisfying? Then there's also the bigger questions that come up that ask you to check in with yourself. Does this relate directly to your gifts, or do you feel like you're on a hamster wheel for a paycheck? And these are things that we can look at in a deeper way in Capricorn season, because the energy of Capricorn wants you to feel good about what you are contributing, wants you to have a very strong sense of self and confidence in your energetic mastery, in your abilities, in what you're here to accomplish and what is true for you. So there has been for a number of years now, this basically rewiring and reprogramming of the Capricorn energies in our lives. This is collective, but it's also individual. This is where perhaps you're realizing I need a new profession. I need a new career, or there's different ways I want to live my life. This isn't working for me. And then you have opportunities or options here in how you go about those next steps. And it can be a slow process. Keep in mind, Capricorn is a slow moving energy. So we just got off the speed of Sagittarius season, but Capricorn says, okay, let's go slow and realistically look at some things here. Let's consider the various angles, what you're going to need in order to make this a reality. And the Capricorn energy will check in with what you have and what you don't have, and wants you to basically make sure that you're prepared for what you need to go the distance. Now, Capricorn is also about titles, credentials, what you have earned along the way. And I think of how Sagittarius energy is also about what we learn and study. Sagittarius is connected to higher education. So similar to going back to school to get a university degree, a master's degree, a PhD, all of that is Sagittarius. Then the energy moves into Capricorn and it's like, well, what are you going to do with that degree? How are you going to make money with that degree? How does this education fit into a workplace? How does it fit into what you want to build in your career moving forward? So this is an example of the practical assessment of Capricorn. And perhaps this applies to your own life experiences where maybe when you were younger and you weren't aware of how the real world works, you're like, oh, I'm going to do this when I'm younger, or I'm going to get my degree in this. And then there could have been a mentor, a parent, an authority figure, a teacher saying, well, that's all good and great. And you're wonderful at that. You're very talented, but can you make a living doing that? Can you get a paycheck? Is someone going to hire you for having that level of knowledge or that level of education in a particular area? So the Capricorn energy is going to bring you down to earth on what your experiences can translate into. So you can have all the experiences in the world with Sagittarius energy, but then in Capricorn season, it's like, okay, so can you even make a living doing this? Or is someone going to pay you for this? So this is where the Capricorn energy comes forward, and we have to get a better understanding of how the world works. So in Capricorn season, we check in on the reality of our lives. We check in on what we're doing every day and determine if it's really in alignment with your soul mission, if it's really in alignment with your natural gifts and abilities. Now, what is wonderful these days is that there are more ways than ever to make a living, to make money with whatever your skill set might be. And that's been part of the expansion of the energies on the planet. That's also been part of the restructuring of our lives since 2020, where we're understanding that maybe the typical traditional path is no longer in alignment with what you're here to experience in this lifetime. And so these are the themes and energies that tend to come up during Capricorn season, which closes out one calendar year and leads us into the next calendar year, where we assess what happened this year, and then we make some new intentions about what we want going forward, what we want to accomplish. So it's really quite lovely how the Capricorn energy directly relates to New Year's resolutions. Now, the start to Capricorn season is extra big this year as the sun in Capricorn makes a square to Jupiter in Aries. And I have been talking about this for a while. In fact, I have a separate video for you on YouTube about the Capricorn solstice energies and how this square to Jupiter in Aries at 0 degrees is a motivating square. And that Jupiter in Aries wants you to put on the gas pedal, wants you to add some fuel to the fire, wants you to go for it, amp it up. Let's get this thing moving, because the fire sign of Aries is also an initiator. It is more impatient than Capricorn. It's more immediate, and it's also very instinctual. It has this primal energy in it, in Aries, and there could be a sense of, I want this, I'm going to go for this, I'm just going to try this. And then the Capricorn energy is about looking at, well, where is this headed? Where can this go? Is this really going to work? But there's something here that honors what you've already been learning this year, because Jupiter is returning to Aries and reaching the 0-degree point for the third time, the third and final time. It's initiating a whole new 12-year cycle. And so this previous year, as Jupiter already went back and forth over 0 degrees Aries, showed you what you were learning, what you were perhaps needing to move through and let go of before advancing. This is also where you could have felt like you had a first draft and now this is more of a final version. It could also feel like now you're more certain of something. And that could be one of the gifts that 2022 brought your way, especially with this Jupiter moving between Aries and Pisces, is that there was a sense here of making sure that the new starts, the new commitments, whatever is calling to you at that gut level that you just feel a rising excitement around or something bubbling up that is invigorating and motivating, all of that is helping you check in with yourself and what you truly want. This is an energy that can go the distance. This is an energy that can get something started and it will change as you move ahead. It will shift into various versions, but there's something here where there is a pressure to begin. And maybe this is something where you're just making a solid new commitment to yourself. This could be an internal feeling. This could be something that you're holding yourself to a higher standard. And you're saying, I'm not going back to that foolishness. I'm not going back to anything lesser. I have my standards. I have my self-respect. I have my dignity. I have my integrity. You can make a list of what you're traveling with. And now you're making a renewed commitment to yourself to walk in that energy. So depending on how this is showing up for you, you could just have a rising sense of confidence. You could have a sense of what is truer for you. And you could also just be making a very strong commitment to your own needs, where you're headed, where you're going, what you want. And again, this begins a new 12-year cycle. So it would be worth writing it down. And not only is this a new cycle that's beginning with the Capricorn solstice and this Jupiter and Aries at the 0-degree point, but we also have the Capricorn New Moon on December 23rd. And that is happening at 2 degrees of Capricorn, and it's the same day that Chiron stations direct at nearly 12 degrees of Aries. So we have multiple energy themes of initiation, turning a corner, a new start, and again, a renewed commitment to yourself in some level of your being. Now, when we look at the energy of the Capricorn New Moon, it's when the sun and the moon are conjunct at 2 degrees. And we also have Mercury, Venus, and Pluto in Capricorn as well. So this means there are 5 planets in Capricorn during this new moon, really asking you to understand not only where you're going next, those next goals or what you want in your life, but where you've been. And Capricorn can have a reflective quality. You look back on the years of your life. You look back on what you've been through, the experiences that have shaped you and formed you, things that have been tough, the challenges you've been through, but you've made it through. So this Capricorn New Moon has a very interesting energy of understanding the cycles you've already completed, you've already lived through. And I'm feeling this as karmic cycles. I'm feeling this as those soul contracts and those deeper energies that you have lived through, experienced. They are so played out. You're like, this is way played out. I'm not doing this again. I'm done with this. And I'm going to make a very solid, strong commitment this week to myself that karma is over, that those cycles and habits and themes are done. I do not have to go back to that anymore. And this is part of how the universe is pushing us forward, pushing us into new versions of ourselves that honor our higher consciousness, new parts of ourselves that also allows us to have beautiful compassion for what we've been healing. Now, with Chiron stationing direct on the same day as the Capricorn New Moon, we once again have this theme of Capricorn and Aries energies. So as I said, we have Sun in Capricorn squaring Jupiter in Aries on December 21st. Then on December 23rd, the Capricorn New Moon and Chiron stationing direct in Aries. So this repeating theme in your chart of Capricorn and Aries energies is showing you what you're ready to move towards, get going, get started in a new way because of what you've healed, because of what you have had to move through. Maybe it was traumatic and painful. Maybe it was emotional, vulnerable, really insecure. Chiron brings up all those energies. Chiron is the wounded healer. And the wounds that we experience through Chiron are wounds that we work through our whole life. They don't go away. We just learn to travel with them. We learn to be gentle with ourselves in particular areas of our lives. We learn that it's okay to not apply too many expectations or some crazy level of perfection to ourselves, because Chiron offers wisdom in the healing process, wisdom in what you're healing, actually asking you to slow down and listen to the wound. Listen to the wisdom of the pain. Listen to what is coming up within you that holds beautiful messages, as long as we can drop down to hear them. And in Aries, Chiron is asking us to look at any of the lower expressions of Aries, including anything around anger, impatience, frustration, childishness, immaturity, wanting things your way and only your way. Chiron in Aries is also revealing perhaps where you've been afraid to ask for help, where you thought, oh, I just have to do this on my own. I just have to figure it all out. But one of the energies that supports Chiron is in healing with others, is in allowing others of the right frequency and vibration to be of assistance, to help you where you're feeling weak or vulnerable, to know that you don't have to do it alone. But that Aries energy, very pioneering and independent, can not want to ask for help. So in your life, as we move into Capricorn season, and we have the strong Capricorn and the strong Aries energies, both independent, both leadership energies, both wanting to do it on my terms, do it my own way. There could be something that softens you this week. There could be something that melts you like butter, or just asks you to just go easy. Go easy on yourself. Go easy on others. Understand that we've all been through very big cycles and very big energies, and it's okay to not have to do it all on your own. And I feel like this is a week where we're acknowledging how far we've come, and we're also understanding why healing has been necessary. And this Chiron stationing direct at 12 degrees, nearly 12 degrees of Aries, is going to be in this same degree point for most of January. So it's a slow moving energy. And Chiron won't return here for another 49 years or so. And so there could be some kind of healing turning point that you're experiencing or moving through. Keep in mind that these energies work with each of us very differently. So this might be very true for you, or it might not be true for you at all. It would depend on how the energies of Chiron are working with you at this time. But there is something in the collective energy field that signals a turning point in what you've been moving through and healing, especially since the middle of 2021. So look at that for yourself, see what's coming up. And also, I feel like this Aries energy is working with the strength of these planets in Capricorn, where Capricorn, again, it's made to go the distance and can carry a lot, can hold a lot of responsibility. It's a bigger energy, it feels, that can really understand, the bigger picture and where to invest energies and where opportunities lie. It's like this Capricorn energy has wisdom, and I feel like it's supporting these Aries planets, which is kind of interesting when you think about it. It's almost like we're seeing what we're made of. And we're stronger than we realize, but we're stronger because of those weaker spots. We're stronger because of what we've been through in the healing journey. And I believe that this December 23rd Capricorn New Moon is about a fresh start, a new page, a new chapter that also acknowledges where you've been, what you've healed, what you've moved through, and what has been reprogrammed in you. And I also feel that is a strong Chiron theme, is that we are energetically reprogrammed. Our frequency drastically shifts because Chiron requires you to drop the armor. Drop the sword, drop the shield, drop it all. None of that's going to fly here. And it's meant to get into the rawness of your energy, the soft parts, the truth, the authenticity of your own energy. And that alone can feel very vulnerable. So there's energies here where as we move into January, just even go easy on yourself. And that could be hard to do in Capricorn season, which wants to get going and achieve. But when we look at how Mars is still retrograde in Gemini and moving very slowly right now, there could be a desire to retract, a desire to go slower, to take a break, to not feel like you have to do it all, at least not at the same pace that you normally would. And Capricorn season is about pacing ourselves, being able to work with the energies steady and clear and allow that to continue to move us forward. So as we move through this week, strong Capricorn energies and strong Aries energies are in play. We also are going to see Venus in Capricorn trine Uranus retrograde in Taurus at 15 degrees. That happens on December 22nd. And that can be a happy surprise with Venus in Capricorn. That can be something coming through that was delayed or that you didn't think would happen. This could be some kind of last minute plans or people showing up in your life. This is in the earth signs, so it relates to our physical reality. It relates to something shifting or a surprise, but it's a happy surprise when there's a trine to Uranus. So this could be, you get an extra gift card in the mail, or you get a bonus check, or maybe there's good news in the office that shows up for you, an unexpected gift or present. So that's a lovely aspect. Then we're going to also see on December 24th, Mercury in Capricorn sextile Neptune in Pisces. Then on December 28th, Venus in Capricorn sextile Neptune in Pisces at 22 degrees. So Mercury is moving very slow right now as he prepares to station retrograde on December 29th. I'm going to do a show for you on Monday, December 26th, focusing on the Mercury retrograde in Capricorn energies. We will look at what that will bring up. But at this time, before Mercury is retrograde, he moves very slow as he approaches that retrograde phase, and he interacts with this Neptune and Pisces, which can open up the answers or understanding you need that just seems to appear, that just comes in, it lands, you receive it. This sextile to Neptune and Pisces can also alleviate mental pressure. You could feel like, I'm just going to put this on the back burner right now. I don't want to overthink this. I'm exhausted. I'm at capacity. I don't need one more thing. So this could be also a time when you are evaluating what is in front of you and reprioritizing it, right? Just understanding, I don't need to look at this again until January or February. Or maybe there's things that you're understanding you don't have control over, and you're okay with that. Now, the Capricorn energy wants to be in control. wants to be the CEO and the top dog. And so there's times when that Capricorn energy is always aware of what's going on, what needs to happen, and the responsibilities in front of it. But this could be a time when you're like, I'm just going to let some things be right now. I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to try to work 25 hours every day before the end of the year. I'm going to give myself some downtime and a break. And that could be something too that you're feeling as we move into the final week of the year. And also we have this Mercury retrograde in Capricorn approaching. So as I mentioned, we will also see Venus in Capricorn sextile Neptune and Pisces at 22 degrees. That happens on December 28th. And that's also the energy of needing a break, maybe not thinking you have to work so hard. All the planets in Capricorn want to demonstrate what they're capable of in some way. And this can be wonderful at managing people, taking on tasks, getting things organized, just being very on top of it. But the sextiles to Neptune and Pisces are asking you to just go with the flow and to step back. So that could be a lovely way to work with the energies over this next week. If you feel that anything has become too tight, right? It's too intense, it's too much. And you're like, yeah, I'm just going to step back, let this flow, let this be whatever it'll be, and then revisit it again in a few days. Now, another interesting energy we have over this next week is that, as we said, the sun enters Capricorn on December 21st and squares Jupiter in Aries at 0 degrees. Then we have the Capricorn New Moon, where the sun and the moon are conjunct at 2 degrees. But then the sun in Capricorn travels on by itself and doesn't make any other transiting aspects to other planets or points until January. So this means the sun in Capricorn is traveling by itself. It's peregrine. It doesn't have conversations going on with the other energies. Now, this could be different for you in your own chart, especially if you have planets or points in the first 10 degrees of the earth signs or the cardinal signs, in which case the sun in Capricorn would be interacting with any planets or points in Taurus or Virgo between 0 and 10 degrees. Also, any planets or points in those cardinal signs of Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn. So in your own chart, the sun in Capricorn could be interacting with parts of your energy, but in the collective energy, the sun is traveling by itself. So this means that when the sun isn't making aspects to other planets, he's kind of like the king in his own court. He's just the ruler doing what he wants. He doesn't have to check in. He doesn't have to consider other responsibilities. He's more independent. He's in his own energy. He's in his own frequency. And so this can be a sun in Capricorn that is fine doing his own thing, that wants to basically be left alone, wants to hermit, or wants to take care of business on his own terms because he's not in relationship to any other energies. Now, yes, he will be interacting with the transiting moon, and that's always the case. But what we're seeing here is that the sun in Capricorn is not making aspects to any other planets. So there could be something that you feel you need time to yourself in the Capricorn areas of your chart to consider, to sit with, to work through, where you're also not looking for interactions or opinions or thoughts or energies from others. When the sun travels by itself, that sun is strengthening its solar consciousness. It's very aware of its power. And we look at how the sun being the biggest luminary in our solar system, bringing in light and energy and so much that creates our own daily lives, not to mention all the energy that's created in the solar system. So the sun does well on its own. The sun is okay, especially in Capricorn, where it can honor its own authority and be in the strength of its own energy. And sometimes the sun in Capricorn is very much a loner and it wants to be left alone. So just understand that that could be part of the energy signature you're feeling or sensing. You could also be observing that in other people, where some people just want to be left alone or they're not looking to socialize or interact. There's something too where when the sun is by itself, the energy is more intense and it's not being spread too thin, so to speak, by interacting with other energies. So there's a fortification of the Capricorn energies right now. And it feels like there's this theme from the universe with this sun in Capricorn traveling by itself for a number of days. We have the other planets in Capricorn, and then we have the planets in Aries gaining strength. It's sort of like the universe is asking you to return to yourself and get to know who you are now, how you have changed, how you have healed, how you have evolved. I feel like there is some type of energy here that wants us to really melt into the truth of who we are now, to really feel into it, to make sure that you're not stepping back into old patterns or habits, that you're not regressing into comfort zones or things that you've actually outgrown. And I feel like that's a big energy right now. Look at what you've outgrown, the parts of yourself, the versions of yourself, even previous levels of consciousness. I mean, it's as simple even as looking back at last January, last December, and looking at what was going on in your life then and how much this year, this calendar year, has evolved you or changed you in some way. And this could be a week that you really integrate that more, that you really see more of your truth. And it's interesting because the Aries energy is so personal. It's so subjective. It's so much about your sense of self. But the Capricorn energy is how you take that and show up in the world, what you're going to do with it, how you're going to live from that place. So it feels like this is truly a week to give yourself time to integrate what you've been through this year, to look at how you've grown, shifted, evolved, to really honor that and to make some commitments to yourself around how you're going to live your life going forward, the new standards you have, the new commitments to yourself, and also honoring what you've healed, honoring what is complete, what is done, what no longer goes forward with you. Because you'll find that even if, it's interesting, even if you were to try to take something forward, it won't stick. Like it won't energetically stick. It won't feel like it fits. It won't feel like it has a place. It'll kind of feel like, I don't know what to do with this. What do I do with this weird part of myself that I've outgrown? You can feel that in your connections, your friendships, your relationships. We are moving through big evolutionary change. You know, there is no more status quo. There is no more quote unquote normal. We're each doing things based on who we are, our own frequency. And so much of this lifetime is in releasing those conditioned parts of ourselves that we thought meant we would live a good life, or we thought meant we would have some type of happiness guarantee. But that isn't the case in these higher frequencies. In fact, the real truth is in getting to know your individual frequency, getting to know who you are at a sovereign level of your being, understanding your own energy and how it's different, how it's special, how it's here to support you in creating and living the life that is uniquely perfect for you. And so that's one of the bigger cycles we're moving through. And then we have these periods of time where we really check in. We deeply check in with what we're living, how we're choosing to live our lives, what's showing up for us, what resonates, etc., etc. So this is a beautiful time to truly listen to yourself and make those commitments in what you want to manifest next. So perhaps that is one way to close out 2022. You do a brand new vision board or write out a whole new list of what matters to you now. what lifts your heart, what raises your spirits, what feels energizing to you at a core level. And I feel like that would be a beautiful way to work with these energies at this time while honoring your own energetic sovereignty and your own mastery, your own authority in this lifetime. So Capricorn season is just beginning, so we will keep discussing these energies and themes as we move through Capricorn season, and also continually check in with how we are living our lives based on the world changes we've been through. Because even as some things continue to shift and change in powerful ways, in really big ways, we still have our own energetic power, our own light, and our light is increasing, especially as the density has cleared out and more darkness has been removed on the planet. There is an increase in light. There's an increase in these higher frequencies that we're feeling and sensing that are also giving rise to new possibilities in our lives. So I hope you're feeling that, and I hope you're feeling that as well with this ongoing evolution of human consciousness that we are so lucky to be co-creating together. So it's a great week to look at where you want to say yes, at what is exciting you or inspiring you. Perhaps you're even looking at plans for 2023 or considering some things you want to do going into the new year. And this could certainly be a great time to look at what is rising in you and what would be a great fit for your energy in the new year. And on that note, I'm so delighted by so many of you who have signed up for the Sedona retreat. It will be March 3rd, 4th, and 5th in Sedona, Arizona. And I do hope you can join us. This is the Awakening Astrology Retreat, where we dive into more of your astrological energies. We do quantum work, we do embodiment work, we do various practices that help you cement in these energies in yourself and also show you more of what's in your astrology chart. So I'm so excited to be meeting you in Sedona. Please check out the information below the podcast if you are curious or if you'd like to be there. We'd love to have you. It's going to be an amazing time. And it's also a great time to meet new friends, to meet new people, to really understand more of who we're connected with through similar frequencies and interests, especially others who are really into astrology. Because I don't know about you, but I have no problem finding people who are not interested in astrology. And I'm like, those aren't my peeps, but I know who we are and I know what beautiful energy we co-create together. So I'm so excited that we can meet in person and have this experience together. Also, be sure and check out the 2023 Soul Growth Astrology Program. It's on sale until the end of this month, and you can get it for $33 with coupon code HELLO2023. And it's designed to give you insights into what is going to be showing up for you in your life and in your astrology chart. And that's why I love doing this annual program for you. So you have a heads up on what is going to be transpiring, on what is going to be active for you in your chart, as well as any big themes, life changes, anything that could show up as well through the transiting energies. So be sure and check that out as well. And I hope it gives you some great information about the upcoming year. I will continue to do this podcast next week. There will be the Monday episode discussing Mercury retrograde, and then the Wednesday episode as well discussing the weekly energies. I am traveling with my family. I have visitors in town right now, but I'm going to stay on track with the podcast schedule. So wishing you a happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Boxing Day, and perhaps happy Festivus. Whatever you celebrate, if you celebrate, I hope you enjoy the best of this time of year, the best of this season. And please know that I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening to my podcast. Thank you for connecting here through this awesome world of astrology. And I look forward to our ongoing journey together. So I'll see you back here next week. Have a lovely holiday season and take good care.